all connected with that stuff already, to some degree. We know that they exist. Now here's the evidence. You know, if it's not in a PowerPoint, it doesn't really exist, right? So now it's real. Well, you know the definition of an expert, don't you? Somebody from out of town with a PowerPoint presentation. All right. Okay, this is just, you know, a little bit more stuff about like the hip, the joint capsule around the hip. So it's very similar to what happens in the shoulder. So it's going to be a thick, strong cover. It's a little bit cylindrical to really just hold that together inside of that, and then it's going to create a little bit of a vacuum, so it creates a little bit of a suction to help hold the joint together. We've talked about some of the hip ligaments. We've seen the pictures. See, pictures are worth 1,000 words. Y'all would be mad at me though if I just gave you pictures and didn't give you the words stolen with it. Okay. So here's that Y ligament we were just talking about. The ischiofemoral ligament, pubofemoral. So there's lots of ligaments in there. The thing you need to think about is those ligaments will cross the hip in a spiral kind of a fashion, so that it allows for rotation, but it also allows for strength. You know, if you think about it, a spring is constructed in a spiral fashion, and a spring is going to be stronger than that same piece of metal stretched out straight, right? So the reason for the spiral configuration is to give some strength to give some stability to a very mobile joint. So kind of the way that they spiral, part of what we see is it will limit hyperextension. So we want some hyperextension, but we don't want too much. I mean, if you have a whole lot of hyperextension, it's going to be hard to stabilize to keep your feet underneath of you. But we do need to extend or hyperextend to be able to walk properly, because you've got to let that leg go back. It will allow for a good amount of flexion. We need that, okay? So that after a test we can go home and get in the fetal position.
It's not the car.
Okay. But we do need to be able to bend pretty well, because we do need to be able to get down to our feet, to put our shoes on, to tie our shoes, to take care of our toenails, to scratch the bottom of our foot.